far-right voices that once blamed Jews for everything across Britain, the same fascist voices are now flying to Israel, shaking hands with ministers and calling it solidarity. Tommy Robinson, I speak of, the man who built his name on division and hate, now standing beside an Israeli minister talking about shared values. Every handshake, every headline, it's another YouTube view, another payday. People like Tommy Robinson finds comfort in standing with those they once despised, not out of respect, but out of convenience. For Robinson, it's a photo opportunity, a way to wash his image clean. If Israel welcomes him, he can say, "See, I'm not an extremist. The Jewish community here have other ideas. They've already protested." He tried a little propaganda video on behalf of Israel. He walked around in the Muslim section of Jerusalem asking shopkeepers there if they were happy, then telling us how 20% Israeli population, that is Muslim, is really living a happy, contented life. He seemed to forget the cornerstone of his hate spreading in this country is that not 20% as in Israel, but 6% Muslims in Britain are a danger to you and are poised to take over your country. And you believe him and repeat his hateful rhetoric all across the internet. And then all the flag waving and marching starts in order to take your country back from yourself. Who's the fool here? Who and where is the real enemy? Is it possibly the Brown family who you've lived next door to for the last 30 years? Or is it the manipulating Tommy? But the real story, the real solidarity is being erased through this same propaganda of convenience. When fascism swept across Europe, for example, when Jewish families were hunted and herded into camps like cattle, it was Muslim soldiers from India and what is now Pakistan, Palestine, North Africa, who fought and died alongside British troops to stop that horror. Tens of thousands of Muslim graves lie across Europe as proof of that sacrifice. They weren't fighting against the Jews, they were fighting for humanity. Because Tommy would have you believe otherwise. We're asked to forget sacrifices of those Muslim soldiers because it's now inconvenient for likes of Farage and Robinson and Netanyahu. We, our forefathers together, fought to stop that evil of Tommy's fascism. They died defending the same Jewish lives that today some of these new allies use as a shield of their hate. So, how did rescuers become suspects? How did neighbors who once protected each other become enemies in the story? This didn't happen by accident. It's fear dressed up as patriotism, sold to us as the new truth. And to those cheering this alliance without question, think, do you really understand what repeating history means? Hate never stops where it starts. It spreads and it consumes everyone in its path. What did we really gain by fueling this anger? What do we win by sharing another cliff that divides our community, our society? Tommy Robinson, of course, profits in views and our outrage. But what do we lose? Have you asked yourself that? Peace in our neighborhoods, trust between families, the sense of duty, decency that keeps us human. His power is noise, noise that you make. Ours could be understanding if we choose to use that. Because alliances built on hate never last. Yesterday's enemies don't become today's friends. They only temporary partners in fear. And when the usefulness ends, they turn on each other again, just like before. So before we clap, before we share, before we follow, ask yourself one question. Why are we forgetting what never again was supposed to mean? Did it mean never again to us, but it's fine to do it to somebody else? Or did it mean never again in humanity to anyone, anywhere? Because the answer to that question will decide whether we learn from our history or are we about to repeat it.